Hello everyone, I am Subodh Bhadange from 3rd year BSc IT from KVP Degree College, and I will be guiding you throughout this PPT about phishing, what is phishing, how they do it and how to avoid it. So let's get started. So let's see what we will see today in this PPT. We will be defining, first of all we will be defining phishing and identifying various types of phishing scams. Then we will recognize some baiting tactics using phishing scams like common which are used on daily basis, and then we will examine some real phishing messages. I will give you some real life examples, the photos I have, the emails I have of real phishing, and in the end we will understand how to protect ourselves from being hooked by a phishing scam. Now, first of all, what is phishing? So, when a cyber criminal or sometimes called attacker attempts to steal any personal or financial or any file from a computer or infects your computer with anything like malwares or viruses or trojans using a link or a bait is called as phishing. Phishing links are so well designed to trick you into thinking that they are real, and you are forced to enter your personal or financial information on that website. Because they are so well designed, we cannot tell the difference in the first look. They are mostly in the form of email links or a website link or anything which you are familiar with. So the chances of detecting that it's a phishing link not real are so less. The reason people get baited so easily with a phishing link is because it appears to come from a legitimate companies, organizations, or known individuals. The attackers mainly take advantages of natural disasters, epidemic, health scares, political elections, etc. etc. For example, they will send you a link about some natural disaster relief fund, and you will be forced to enter your credit card information on them. Now let's see types of phishing. The first type of phishing is mass phishing. As indicated by name, this is mass, large volume attack intended to reach as many people as possible. The most common example for this is the message saying the victim has won a lottery and he should log in to claim the money. Now the next type of phishing is spear phishing. This is a type of personalized attack. Targeted attack is directed at a specific individual or company using gathered information about them to personalize the message and make the scam more difficult to detect. The next type of phishing is whaling. This type of attack is also a spear phishing attack, but this targets big fish, that is, high profile individuals or those with a great deal of authority or access. Now, the other one is clone phishing attack. This one is the most dangerous type of attack as it consists of a spoofed copy of a legitimate and previously delivered email with the original attachments and the hyperlink replaced with the malicious version of them, which is sent from a forged email address which also looks like similar to the original one, so it appears to come from the original sender or another legitimate source, and victim doesn't doubt anything about that email. The last type of phishing is advance fee scam. This is a rarely used scam, as in this attacker requests the target to send money which is stated as a form of advance payment or a tax of something that the victim is going to receive. Now we have seen the types of phishing. Now let's see some common baiting tactics. So the first and the most common baiting tactics is the notification from a help desk or system administrator. In this method, the attacker will pose as a system administrator and will ask you to take action to resolve an issue against your account, like your email account or Facebook account, etc. This mainly includes clicking on a link and entering your information on that website. In this one, attacker will try to strike your weakness, which includes immediate weight loss, hair growth, or fitness gain. This mainly serves as a ploy to get you to click on a link that will affect your computer with or mobile devices with malwares or viruses or trojan. The third method is attachment method, in which the attacker will send some attachment labeled as invoice or shipping order. That attachment is mainly consist of some malwares that can affect your computer or mobile devices if opened. It may also contains of what which we know as ransomware, a type of malware that will delete all your files, and it will lock all your files unless you pay a specified some amount of money in Bitcoin to the attackers. Another tactic is what getting a notification from what appears to be a credit card company. In this method, attacker sends a message indicating someone has made an unauthorized transaction on your account using your credit or debit card. And if you click the link to log in and verify your transaction, which has been sent by the attacker, your username and password will be collected to the attacker's database. He will then use this information to log in and use your credit card and drain your account out of every last penny you have. And the last one is the most non-detectable one, which is using a fake account on a social media site. In this, attacker mimics as a legitimate person, business, or organization, which may also appear in the form of an online game, quiz, or survey designed to collect your information from your account. So as we have now seen all the common baiting tactics, now let's see some example of these tactics. As you can see in this example, this email claims to come from the IT help desk and system administrators. This email also includes a hyperlink that points to a fraudulent website. As stated in the subject, this email says to update your account, followed by a text message saying your mailbox has exceeded its storage limit set by our email administrator, and you will not be able to receive new email until you revalidate it. Click here to revalidate your email account. The hyperlink behind the click here will take the victim to a fraudulent website which actually looks exactly same as the original one. So when the victim actually types his credential in that website, the attacker will have access to the victim's email address. Let's see another example. In this example, as you can see, it claims to come from the human resource. This message includes timely call for action during annual review season and also includes hyperlinks that points to a fraudulent website. The email states that salary structure was recently reviewed and the victim was due for a salary raise on his next paycheck. According to this, he has to log in with his credential to read the salary raise letter. As you can see below, the message states that access the documents here, followed by a hyperlink of the website. This link is same as we saw before, a clone and identical version of the original website. Now let's see another example. In this example, we can see that the email claims to come from PayPal. As you can see, the attacker has tried to mimic the real email very closely. It also includes a PayPal logo. Even though it looks real, you can determine that it's fake by looking at the email address. The sender's address used here is @ecom360.net, not PayPal. As you can see, it calls for immediate action using threatening language, saying that victim's account will expire in 48 hours unless you take actions. This email contains a hyperlink which will take the victim to the fraudulent PayPal website, which look exactly same like the original one, where the victim will enter his credentials and the attacker will get hold of those credentials. In this example, as you can see, it is likely an advance fee scam. This attacker tries to take advantage of ongoing human crisis. As you can see, if it sounds too good to be true, it likely is true. As you can see in this email, the attacker is asking the victim to assist and be his investment partner, stating that a foreign partner is needed to sign and get the fund released. The attacker has also said that he is agreed to pay the victim 30% of the entire fund. Now the attacker will ask the victim to send some money as an advance fee payment to release the fund as a term of investment. As soon as the victim sends money to the attacker, he will get blocked. So now we have seen all the examples. Let's move forward to how to detect a phishing scam. Now, in order to detect a phishing scam, the first thing we need to do is check the email for spelling errors. For example, the spelling of password will be PESSWARD instead of PASSWORD or etc. If an email has this type of spelling mistakes or lack of punctuation or poor grammar, then it likely is to be a scam. The next thing we need to do is to check if the hyperlinked URL in the email differs from the one displayed on the original website, or it is hidden. If the URL from the original website and the one hyperlinked in the email are different, then it surely is a scam. The third one is the use of threatening language that calls for immediate action. For example, the email will say that unless you take action on your account in less than 48 hours, your account will be terminated, etc. etc. If not this, then we have to check if the email requests for our personal information. If the email states an announcement indicating you have won a prize or lottery, it is highly likely to be a scam. And in the last one, we have to check if the email is requesting for any donation of such kinds. So as I have now explained how to detect a phishing scam, can you detect a phishing scam? As you can see here, the email states your password expires in 2 weeks. Reset your password below via the account management page. But if you focus on the email, you will see that the password spelling is PASSWARD and the second password spelling is PASSWORD. So there is a spelling mistake. And after that, in the end of the management page, there is greater than bracket instead of a full stop. So there is a punctuation error. After that, the email states as click on change password followed by a hyperlink. If you focus on the hyperlink, you will see that the link provided here is not of the real page but of a fraudulent website. And in the end, the email states that if password is not changed in the next 2 hours, your next login access will be denied. So here we can see the threatening language. Due to such type of threatening languages, victims many of the times get panicked and act quickly without thinking. This results in them getting baited by the attacker. Let's see another example. The first thing we need to do is check the sender's address. Do you know the sender? If the email has came from an unknown person, please be cautious while opening any attachments attached to it. Then in this example you can see there is no greeting. The message directly starts from please see the attached video invoice and remit payment according to terms listed in the bottom of the invoice. Any email coming from real authorities will always contain greeting and salutations. But in this email you can see there is no salutation or signature to verify it is authority. And in the end, as you can see, there is an attachment, but are you expecting an attachment from this person or the company? If no, then it is highly a scam. These attachments sometimes contain trojan which are used as backdoors or a ransomware which will lock your files and will force you to make a payment to the attacker. So what to do? Protect yourself, refuse the pay, stop, think and connect. Before you click anything on the email, look for the common baiting tactics discussed earlier. If the message or email looks suspicious or too good to be true, treat it as such, cause it is highly likely to be a scam. To make sure no viruses, malwares or ransomware affects your PC, Install and maintain antivirus software on your electronic devices. Nowadays, every Windows 10 consists of a inbuilt antivirus called Windows Defender. And in the end, use email filter to reduce spam and malicious traffic. This will put the email from the untrusted sources to the spam folder. Be wary of messages asking for password or other personal information. No one from authorities will ask for your password or any other personal information. And even if in some cases these information are required, most reputable businesses and organizations will not ask for this information via email. Never send your passwords, bank account numbers, or other private information or any other information in an email. Do not reply to an email which requests this kind of information. And if you receive such email, verify its authenticity by contacting the company or the individual, but do not use the contact information included in the same email. Instead, go to the website, the official one, and in the contact us section you will get the email address or any other contacting information of that company. If you receive such email, do not click on any hyperlink provided in that email. Use your computer mouse to hover over each link to verify its actual destination, even if the message appears to be from a trusted source. Pay close attention to the URL and look for a variation in spelling or different domain. If you see the hyperlinked website is familiar, consider navigating to familiar sites on your own instead of using links within the messages. If you open the website using the hyperlink provided in the email, examine the website closely. Malicious website may look identical to the legitimate sites. Look for the HTTP sign or a lock icon in the address bar before entering any sensitive information on a website. The lock icon indicates the website is end-to-end encrypted and the information entered on that website will be safe. But what if you already got hooked? Protect yourself. Take action now. If you suspect that you interacted with or replied to a phishing scam using your email account, then you should immediately contact the IT help desk. The website of IT help desk of India is cybercrime.gov.in. If you suspect that you might have revealed or shared personal or financial information, then you should immediately change the passwords of your accounts. If you use the same password for multiple accounts and websites, change it for each account. Do not use that password in future. Watch for the signs of identity theft by reviewing your bank and credit card statements for unauthorized charge and activity. If you notice anything unusual, immediately contact a credit card or bank. In the end, consider reporting the attack to the police and file a complaint report on the cybercrime website. Now let's see a live example of how phishing actually works. Now as you can see, we are on attacker side of the terminal. Now he will load some packages, one of which is the NetPisher package. NetPisher is a tool to attack. Okay, now after using the bash command, as you can see, he will now use the bash command. He will get so many options, so many different options, from one of the which is first one, the Facebook. Now he wants to attack using a Facebook page. He will choose Facebook. After selecting that, now he has 4 options from which he will choose a traditional login page, because the first one looks exactly the same as the real one. So as you can see, now he have 5 more options from which he will select the second one, which is NGROC, because NGROC uses port forwarding method, so he can attack over internet. Now he will get a URL which will the main key to attack. Like you can see on the top that it's a HTTP link. So now all he has to do is to just forward the link to the victim. He will forward the link followed by a so convincing message so that no one can doubt that it's a fake one. Like there are some security issues or anything related to that. Now let's get back to the victim's phone. As you can see here, he will shortly receive a text message from the attacker. He has received it. Let's see what he has to say. We have noticed unusual login from your Facebook account. Kindly re-login to verify it's you. So as you can see, it's so convincing message, no one will doubt it that it's fake. As you can see, now the victim will be entering his credentials, and he has no idea that the website he is entering on his sensitive information is not actually Facebook. It's the fake one the attacker created. Now as you can see, he can log in like a normal Facebook. The page opens like a normal Facebook. He can browse his notifications. Now he will be searching for a page. So as now you can see, the victim has searched for a familiar page which is KBP Degree College, and he sees no difference in this page, so he has no idea. Let's get back to the attacker's phone. So on the attacker's side of terminal, now we can see that he has access to the victim's IP address and his account as well as his password. So that victim has been hacked. All of the sensitive information of the victim is now in the hands of attacker, and now he can do anything he wants with this.